Alright, this is Miss Connor here, and I'm doing the last part of the quiz, solving with elimination. We've already done the first two parts in another video, and if you need help with those, be sure and get your quiz corrections done by looking at that part of the video, because if you show full work, you'll get half the points back that you missed. When we're solving by elimination, that means we want to first multiply equations together in order to get the same coefficients but opposite signs on one of the variables, so that when we add them together, one of them cancels out or eliminates. So let's look at the first one. If we look at the very first one, I actually don't need to multiply anybody together because I want you to see this. My coefficients for x are positive 2 and negative 2. So they're the same number, but one's positive and one's negative. So that means if I add these two equations together, positive 2x plus negative 2x is 0. So it cancels out. So I can go ahead and add them. Then I'll add my y's. Negative 4y plus 3y is negative 1y, which is the same thing as negative y. 14 plus negative 11 gives me 3. So I'm almost done. I still need to get y by itself. Remember that negative y is the same thing as negative 1 times y. And so if you want to get y by itself, you need to divide by negative 1. That cancels out that negative, and now I end up with y equals 3 divided by negative 1, which is the same thing as negative 3. So there's my first value as negative 3. I'm not quite done though. After I find one value, I have to find the other. And so what I do is I always take whatever that value is, in this case negative 3, and put it in for y in one of these equations. It doesn't matter which one, but I'm going to put it into this one. And when I do, I don't know my x, so I'm going to keep that as x, but I'm replacing y with negative 3 because we just figured out that the solution is when y is negative 3. So now I just have to solve this for x. Negative 4 times negative 3 is positive 12, so this becomes 2x plus 12 equals 14. Now I have a two-step equation. With a two-step equation, you're solving for the variable. You always want to do the addition or subtraction first. So since I have 12 added, to get the 12 to the other side of the equals, I'm going to subtract 12 from both sides. When I do, those cancel out on the left side, which is what I wanted. On the right side, I have 14 minus 12, or 2. Now I'm ready to divide by 2, so they cancel out, and I get x equals 1. So my answer is 1, negative 3. It's a good idea to check it and make sure if I put 1 in for x and negative 3 in for y, will that be negative 11? And I can see negative 2 times 1 is negative 2. 3 times negative 3 is negative 9. I can see that's going to work out. Let's look at the next one. Let's start out just by analyzing it. Is it possible to add them together and for something to go away? And I can see right away that my coefficients for y are the same. They're 1, but one's positive and one's negative. So that means if I add them together now without doing any multiplication, the y's will be eliminated because positive y plus negative y is 0. So now I have to add everything else. 1x plus 1x, that's the same as 2x. 11 plus 7 is 18. Now all I have to do to get x by itself is divide it by 2, and I end up with x equals 9. Now that I know what x is, I have to find y. So I'm going to take that x, and I can put it in either equation. I'll just put it in the top one. And so when I do, I get 9 plus y equals 11. Now I just need to solve for y. So I have to get rid of the 9. Of course, to bring the 9 to the other side of the equals, I have to do the opposite. So since 9 is added to y, I'll subtract it. That'll cancel it out, and I have y equals 11 minus 9, or 2. So my answer to number 7 is 9, 2. I always do my x and then my y. You can circle that. Last one. I'm going to analyze this before I get started like I did the others. If I add these together, negative 1x plus 2x is 1x. Nothing cancels out. Negative 5 plus negative 7, nothing cancels out. So I have to do these steps. I want to figure out what can I multiply one of the equations by, or both of them by, in order to cancel out a variable. I could cancel out the y's by multiplying the bottom equation by 5 and the top equation by negative 7, but I see an easier way. If I want to cancel out the x's, all I'd have to do is multiply the top equation by 2. You'll see if I do that, my 2 times negative x will give me negative 2x, and so my x's will cancel out. So let's multiply that 2 by everybody, because you can't just multiply it by one value to make it still equal. You got to multiply it by every term. So 2 times negative x is negative 2x. 2 times negative 5y is minus 10y, and 2 times 30 is 60. So I don't have to use that equation anymore. Now I'm going to use these two because I've rewritten that one right here. And now when I add them together, my x's cancel out, and I have to add negative 7y plus negative 10y, negative 17y, 25 plus 60, that's the same as 85. So now to solve for y, I'm going to have to divide by negative 17 since it's multiplied by y. Of course, the opposite is division to cancel it out, and I end up with y equals negative 17, or 85 divided by negative 17. I'm pretty sure that's 5. It's going to have to be negative because I have a positive divided by a negative. I'm going to make sure it's 5 by multiplying it out here. 5 times 7 is 35. Yeah, I know that that's going to work out. So now that I know what y is, I'm going to take that value and I'm going to put it in for y, not for x, but for y. So it doesn't matter which equation I use. If I use that one right there, I'll have 2x minus 7 times negative 5. So now I have to solve this for x. I'm going to start by simplifying this. Negative 7 times negative 5, it becomes a plus 35. Now, it's a two-step equation. I always want to start with addition or subtraction to get x by itself. So to move the 35 across the equals, that's when I do the opposite. I'll subtract it. The 35s now are gone on the left side, and on the right side I have 25 plus negative 35. That's the same as negative 10. Now I'm ready to get rid of the 2, and I get x equals negative 5. So my full answer is negative 5, comma, negative 5. Again, it's a good idea to check it in each equation to make sure you're right, especially when you're taking a quiz.